what the cold does to your hands.
Speaking of cold, it's January, it's horrible, it's miserable, and everyone's having a pretty rough time. So, luckily, we're here to brighten your day.
Yay!
We thought, for this podcast discussion, I hope you enjoyed our Girl in the Fireplace review last week. We hope it was good. We haven't actually filmed it yet, because time travel.
Timey-wimey.
Yeah, basically. But we thought for this one, we would go through and pick some Doctor Who stories that you can put on at this very miserable time of year, where everything's cold and no one's got any money and it's raining or snowing, and it's just a pretty dreadful time. It's dark from about 2:30 in the afternoon and no one can be bothered for it. But I like to sometimes put on Doctor Who to cheer myself up.
As do I.
So what we've done is we've each picked 3 stories and we're going to go through them and just explain why they're a good laugh and how they might help you to just have fun. I'll put on a bit of Doctor Who and, you know, pray the cold snap away.
Yeah, it is a bit cold, isn't it?
It's horrible. I hate it.
Yeah.
I really hate it.
So do I. Go away, cold. Sorry, I really
Wish I'd tried that.
Get warm.
Also, in case you couldn't tell, new microphones.
Yes.
Let us know if you think they're an improvement or not. We're still just trying them out at the minute. And we could really do with some feedback. But it is quite nice to be able to sort of stretch across the table. And look, that was banging new microphones. Probably have, actually. For all time's sake.
My first pick out of the 3 I've chosen for this is The Three Doctors. It's the 10-year anniversary special. And it's a great, fun episode. It's the first multi-Doctor episode, which really just has improved the more they've done them, I think. They've just gotten better and better each time, with the odd exception here and there.
I think so, yeah.
But it's a fun story. Like they're not so much story driven like the other episodes are. You can just sort of watch it. You don't need to pay so much attention to what's going on to understand what is actually happening. You get those awesome little blobby bubble wrap monsters, which every time I see them, I laugh.
They are hilarious.
Yeah,
to be fair.
it's when they start moving. It is the movement of them.
That's what I think we said that in our review, which you should go check out as well.
Yes.
The fact that they look fine for a 70s Doctor Who monster until they just start like sort of shuffling along, you know. What did I call them? I think Mr. Blobby's smackhead cousin or something.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a lot of fun to be had as well between the interplay between the 3rd and 2nd Doctor. Not so much with William Hartnell, but them two, it's quite funny watching those two try and cooperate and then, you know, eventually working together and saving the day.
Yeah, and the dynamics between the 2 Doctors and the Brigadier and Benton.
Yeah,
as well. Like,
I think the Brigadier is hilarious in this.
Yeah, there's so much fun happening, and then you get that bit of seriousness in when the both Doctors come face to face with Omega, and
oh my god,
and it's, I
can't believe I didn't do that last time, to be honest. That was such an easy one.
It's just such a fun episode to watch. Like you can't sit there and not be smiling or laughing as it's going on.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's great. I love it.
Which is why for very similar reasons, I've picked one of my all-time favourite stories that is quite poor but really good fun, Delta and the Bannermen. Now, I think I've picked this before when we talked about underrated stories. I get why people might not necessarily be a huge fan of Delta and the Bannermen. I get it. It's silly, but it's so camp and it's so fun. And although there are a couple of moments in there with, you know, buses of tourists being exploded and everything, if you look past that, it's really funny. Like, who could not laugh?
What a sentence.
That's not something you hear every day, to be fair. But who could not laugh when, you know, we've got a Welsh owner of a very Welsh sort of Butlins knockoff, what they call Butlins, basically, and that's what they're called. You know, it's a very camp holiday village in the 50s, and you get the immortal line of, you mean there's a group of spacemen, and you're being chased by another group of spacemen, why don't we all have space buns and tea? Like, I challenge anyone to watch that and at least not crack half a smile. Do you know what I mean? And there's so much else, you know, it's, like I said, it's so camp, it's so fun, it doesn't take itself too seriously. I think the story knows that they haven't got an instant classic on their hands, and I think you could tell everyone's just having fun with it. You know, it's all filmed on location pretty much, bar a couple of bits and pieces here and there. So, and it's all filmed in Wales as well, so you could tell everyone's enjoying their holiday, even if it is to Butlins and Barry. But, you know, which at the time I think was quite a run-down area of...
At the time?
Well, apologies to any of our Barry Island or Barry fans. All 4 of you. No, I'm joking. We are sorry though. But it is fun, and it's,
Yeah.
you know, you've got Ken Dodd in it, just being Ken Dodd, who, you know, is unfortunately brutally murdered. But still, you know, there's a green baby. And then bees. They use bees to defeat some of the alien scum. Like, it's... it's so, and with it being 3 parts, it's like, it bonds along. It's about an hour and a quarter long. If you're having a rubbish day, it's one I always break out. If I'm ever having a crap day, I always put that on. I've talked about it a couple of times now, I can't wait for it to come up in our sort of review schedule to watch it properly and just really just have a laugh with it. Because it is just one of those stories that you can't help but find hilarious. And I think if you watch Gentlemen of the Man and thinking, this is terrible, this is rubbish, I think you have no soul and no sense of fun.
I tell you who does have a sense of fun though.
Who?
David Tennant and Catherine Tate.
What a segue.
Yes.
Look at this man.
Let's go. My next one's is Partners in Crime.
Nice.
I'd even say Runaway Bride, to be honest, as well. I'm like, both of them give off the same sort of energy between the two.
They do. I think
Yeah.
Partners in Crime just edges it in terms of the humour and the fun.
Yeah, 100%. That's why I've chosen it. But yeah, it's first episode, of the 4th series of Doctor Who revival. You're getting a returning Catherine Tate coming back as Donna Noble, and it's just brilliant. You get Wilf in his second appearance on Doctor Who in the revival, and
He's so good.
He's so
He's so good in it when, especially that scene, that lovely, really heartwarming scene where he's up on the hill with Donna with the telescope and everything, and you know they're talking about her as a child when she ran off because they weren't going on holiday or anything, so she got on a bus all the way to somewhere, I can't quite remember where, but he's so good, and there's so much fun to be had in this. You know, I think it's got it's got the funniest Doctor Who scene of all time in this episode.
100%. That miming scene when Miss Foster is interrogating the reporter, like, comedy gold.
And it's
absolute
just
brilliance.
It's so typical of the two of them for Donna to be stood by the window, but for the Doctor to go really extra and go, I'm going to spy on them from a window cleaning trolley, like halfway down the premiere in Cardiff. You know, I think the comedy doesn't just end there with the miming scene though. I think the whole scene afterwards where they're in the bucket and Donna's holding on and he's holding on for dear life above.
She's like, hold on, she's like, I am.
Which never fails to make me laugh. But, you know, and it's a fun little story. All right, you know, it's one of those ones that, again, sort of has quite a dark plan layered throughout this, like, fun and humour and everything.
Yeah, and, like, even the ending, I mean, Miss Foster's death's a bit brutal, I will admit.
Yeah.
But
it's also very cartoonish in a way, the fact that she's, you know, the levitation field stops, but she's still there for a second or two, and then she drops. It's like
so
very.
You half expected to hold up a sign saying help. But no, like even the ending though is actually quite nice because you see the adipose flying away. There's no real malice in the Adiposians coming to take their kids away. And there was just a little bit of hostility when there was the breeding issue.
And there's the scene
slight issue of death.
Where the ship passes behind Wilf. And he's looking the other way up the telescope trying to see what he's
his music, like.
And this massive spaceship goes behind him. It's really... But, like, there's a lot of heart to it as well, you know, the stuff, especially with Donna and Wilf and everything, and Donna's, you know, realisation that the Doctor does just want a friend and she's, you know, there's no funny business, they just want to be mates. It's a really wholesome... It's about as wholesome as Doctor Who gets, to be fair.
Yeah, and then you got that scene as well, right at the end of the episode, where Wilf sees Donna flying off in the TARDIS through the telescope, and the sheer joy on the man's face because she's out going to explore the universe.
It's absolutely adorable.
It's heartwarming as hell. So
yeah, well, I've picked one from the same series a couple of episodes later. A bit of a disclaimer for this one. Obviously, we know that the writer of this episode is a complete piece of shit, and we won't be making any reference to him. And hopefully, I hope one day he falls down a flight of stairs or something like that. And but the Unicorn and the Wasp, however, is a really fun episode. I mean, you know, I get it won't be for everyone in terms of, you know, because of the views that were held by the writer and still are held by the writer. But if you just try and separate it from that, and if you are feeling like, you know, totally get it if you can't, but some people can. And if you feel like you can, you're in for a very fun episode of Doctor Who. There are, again, you know, it balances that humour and has a really humorous episode really well, even though there are some quite dark and serious themes throughout. I think the Agatha Christie references throughout, I mean, there's about a dozen different titles of her books just laid throughout the dialogue, which is really clever. I think now I've read a couple more Agatha Christie books as well. I think there's even more references that it does really well. I think that it's genuinely laugh out loud hilarious at points. The scene, for example, where the doctor's, questioning all the residents of the house who are all there, and you get things like the son of the family who's saying, "Oh, he's just walking completely alone," and he's actually gone off to have a snog with the waiter and everything. And when you've got the Colonel who starts, flashing back to his days at a certain sort of show were hysterical. There's just some really funny scenes throughout, and it's one of the ones I go to quite often. Again, it's like Downton and the Bannerman. If I've had a bad day or if I want something fun, just easy to watch for 45 minutes, I can put that on and I'm never ever disappointed with it.
Yeah, and you got Donna going through it, like accidentally dropping like names of books that haven't actually been written at the time.
Yeah,
and she's just there like, oh, copyright Donna Noble.
Yeah, she's trying to make a bit of money off.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like if the Doctor heard her, he'd probably smack him. He'd probably like stop it.
And again, I think this contains one of the other funniest scenes of Doctor Who, where the Doctor is, although when you say it, it sounds quite bad. The Doctor's been poisoned with cyanide, so he goes to inhibit his enzymes, he goes to like a super detox basically. And he's, again, it's the miming and it's that physical comedy and like the chemistry between Catherine Tate and David Tennant just working so well. I don't think that would have worked with any other Doctor companion pairing. It wouldn't have been anywhere near as funny.
No, it's like the Harvey Wallbanger.
Yeah, she's like, what? Cocktail shaker. What do you want, a Harvey Wallbanger? He's like, Harvey Wallbanger? How is Harvey Wallbanger? One word. It's hysterically funny. And, I think it's got a nice touch at the ending as well, with how, Agatha Christie goes on to be remembered forever. She's, the best-selling novelist of all time. And she definitely is one of the greatest writers of all time as well. And I think Fenella Woolgar is really good in the part as well, really brings heart to her as well. She could be quite cold sort of crime writer and everything, but she's got, there's things there that she's worried about, things that are affecting her and things. I keep saying things. And a lot of different elements that really just come together in this episode that just make it really, really rewatchable. And we'll just try and maybe remaster the DVD so it doesn't have a writer credit or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was my pick for series. Well, my pick for series 4 was my second pick. What's your third pick, Tom?
My third pick is A Christmas Carol. Now, I know this is very time of year oriented. It's only good for one time a year, effectively, because it's a Christmas special, and I'm one of those, you shouldn't watch a Christmas special away from Christmas.
Well, thank God we're doing this in January then.
Yeah. It's still one you can put on. It's cold enough to be Christmas outside.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Christmas Carol is a Doctor Who must for the festive season, to be fair.
Yeah, it's one I woke up early on Christmas Day, and it's the first thing I put on was A Christmas Carol.
Not even some clothes?
Oh, I was just in bed. I was just coming round, and I was just put Doctor Who on. I was like, oh, sweet, this will help me wake up a bit more. But no, it's quite a sad, somber story at the start.
I think there are some definite melancholy elements to it.
Yeah, effectively, it is Kazran trying to decide what day is it okay to be Abigail's last? Like, when is her last day going to be?
And I like that mystery is sort of fed slowly. It's not just a case of, he could quite easily go, in the very first scene with Abigail in the frozen, suspended animation thing, going, well, she could only come out one more day, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But instead it's sort of slowly hinted at and revealed.
Yeah, and the flash stuff where young Kazran's growing up and spending that one Christmas Eve with Abigail and stuff, and their relationship starting to grow, and just them having a lot of fun with the Doctor as well is really nice to watch. It does get a bit more somber when the Doctor shows up and Kazran's like, yeah, I don't need you now, and then kind of cuts him out. There's drama throughout it, but I think Matt Smith's on fire in this. I think he's at his absolute best. He's very funny, but he does the serious stuff really well. But in this, it's fun. It's really good Christmas fun. Yeah, and it's following the Christmas Carol story as well. Effectively, it's
one of the best adaptations of A Christmas Carol I've ever seen, bar maybe Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, I love that one. But no, it's just. Even the jokes at the start, though, the ship's crashing and Rory and Amy come out the honeymoon suite.
Nailed it.
Got there eventually. And he was like, why are you dressed as a Roman? Oh, honeymoon suite. It's just little innuendo jokes going in.
It's just before Moffat gets really innuendo heavy and it's writing with one hand. And but I just think the whole episode really nails just fun and it feels festive. Like I watch A Christmas Carol very close to Christmas, and that's the thing that gets me into that sort of festive feeling, because Christmas is stressful.
Yes.
But then you put that on and you think, oh, it's time to have
time to relax, have a drink, enjoy yourself. But there's a reason it's the best Christmas special.
Oh yeah, by a mile.
There's no debate about it being the best Christmas special, I think.
Debate.
There's some that will come close, but this just clinches it.
Yeah.
At worst, it clinches it by an inch. It is the best Christmas special they've ever done.
For me, it's my favourite by a good mark. I mean, I like a lot of the others, but for me, this one just comes out on top. It's one of my favourite. It's one of my favourite episodes of Doctor Who. Full stop. To be honest, let alone Christmas specials. It's a very good pick. Very good pick. My final pick is also a Christmas special, and it's one that's nowhere near as good as this. But it is still good fun. I'm going to pick The Return of Dr. Mysterio, which I saw got absolutely thrashed on Twitter a few weeks ago when it was brought up in a few different sort of debates and stuff. And I will sit here and admit that it isn't the best or even close to the best. But is it fun? Yeah. Yes. Can you switch your brain off and have a nice time for an hour? Yes. Is it Peter Capaldi? Finally. I think it's the first episode where his doctor really is just having fun.
Yeah, you can tell he's enjoying himself as the Doctor.
Because you have that whole arc of Series 8 where it's him trying to figure out if he's a good man. Then there's the whole Series 9 thing with it, is this relationship he has with Clara, is it healthy? No, it's not. When you get past that and you get past, losing River and everything, although he does have that, moment at the end, it's his post-Beryllium and everything, but he's just having fun. The pre-credit sequence where he's giving, what's his name? Grant.
Yes.
The crystal, and he swallows it and becomes a superhero, and Doctor Who just does a superhero film for Christmas. There's some really fun stuff where he's hiding around the corner eating sushi, for example, and Mr. Fibble, the little squeaky toy thing, which looks like me as well. I've got a bit of a reputation for looking like scary, sweet / weird inanimate objects in Doctor Who.
That's all right. At least no one said you look like the Meep.
I think I'd almost prefer that in a way.
True.
But I leave the cuddly bear stuff to you. But this is good fun, It's a fun little. There's a nice romance with a happy ending at the end. The aliens are defeated, and it's not really one where there's death and destruction everywhere like you do get at Doctor Who, and sometimes especially at Christmas as well. It's just a fun hour of telly that you can put on. Again, it's not one of the ones that it doesn't really feel really festive to me like a Christmas Carol. Like I could watch this at other points through the year, whereas I feel like if you don't watch a Christmas Carol at Christmas, it's sort of, you don't really have that impact of it. But for me, Return of Dr. Mysterio is a good laugh. I mean, in 2016, there wasn't a lot of Doctor Who going around, so we had to sort of be grateful for what we got, because it was either this or 8 episodes of Class. So, and for God's sake, the last thing I'd want to do this time of year is watch Class, because there may be a chance I would lose what little sanity I've got left.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'm never going to request a Class rewatch again.
Well, you can, but I won't be joining you.
No, I'm not going to do it. I simply refuse. I can't put myself through that again. It was painful enough as it was.
Yeah, well, I hope those are some good bonus. But I do have one bonus pick, if you will indulge me for a second.
Okay.
If anyone has the season 20 box set, there is a extra feature on that with Peter Davison, Janet Fielding, and Sarah Sutton going on a European road trip, and they're trying to get from London to somewhere in Germany for a Doctor Who convention, and they go on a road trip. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Like, not even joking, not even as compared to other Doctor Who extras. That is worth the 45 quid for the box set alone, in my eyes, to be honest. Not to mention everything else, all the other great stuff. But that, I think it's about an hour and a half long, hour and a quarter, something like that. And it's just the three of them going on a road trip, trying to navigate a, big fancy car as they drive to try and get to a convention. It's hilarious. I mean, the three of them, you could tell, have obviously been great mates for years now, and they're very close in some respects. But overall, it's just a really good fun watch, and it's something that, again, if you're having a bit of a low day, if you're bored of the cold and you just want to have a laugh for a bit, put that on and you'll enjoy it.
I'll tell you what else is good to watch as well.
What's that?
Peter Davison, Sylvester McCoy, Colin Baker, all trying to make it to the 50th anniversary to be a part of it.
That's a very good shout
That
as
is
well, actually.
hilarious.
As a bonus pick, that's a very good.
That is bloody brilliant. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. It is just incredible.
That's one thing I think is missing from the Whoniverse collection on iPlayer, to be honest, because you can still watch it on the Doctor Who website, but I just feel like it would be very easy and more accessible for a lot of people if you just stuck it on the Whoniverse tab.
Stuff. Yeah.
And I think it's so funny and there's so many jokes laden throughout that you don't have to be a massive Doctor Who fan to get. I mean, I watched it with the boys. They don't know all the classic jokes that were in it, but still laughed at things like John Barrowman with his wife and kids and things like that. You know, it's good fun. It's just an hour of just silliness. And that's what you need at this time of year because it's cold outside and there's no kind of that's Red Dwarf. But it's not a particularly pleasant time. And sometimes you just want to put on something that's good fun.
Yeah, and January's a long month. It'll help speed things along, to be honest.
If you have any suggestions, though, for uplifting or fun Doctor Who stories that might cure the January blues, let us know in the comments, and we will, maybe do some more of these later on in the month at some point, if there's any that we have. But there's probably quite a few that we've missed, really, to be fair. We just sort of came up with these off the cuff. So, yeah, let us know, and we hope you enjoyed. We will see you next week for another review.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, don't forget.
One job.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, to be fair, we haven't filmed
I should get that on a t-shirt at some point, shouldn't I?
Don't give me ideas for more merch.
Yeah, it's been a while since we recorded.
We haven't filmed. This is the first time we filmed this year.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we were both rammed last week with work and stuff.
Oh, right.
But no,
It's getting silly now. I think we need a break.
Yeah. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and hit that notification button below to get notified when we put a video up. I just hit something. But yeah.
Do you want to just call that a day? Before we go
I
as
need
well,
feeding.
If you will also indulge me, if you enjoy seeing us talk about things, I've started another channel called Peak Fiction, which I'll link in the description. And that's basically a little project of mine, like a little side hustle, basically. This isn't going anywhere. It's just something I'm doing in the background. I've set myself a challenge to watch a new film every day this year. It's quite a big challenge. I don't know if I'm going to complete it or not, but it's fun. And basically that channel is for me to talk about other stuff that is in Doctor Who. So this is all the Doctor Who stuff and Doctor Who adjacent things. That is going to be for films, TV shows, books, podcasts, radio plays, musicals, whatever. So if you could check that out, check out the first video, let me know what you think. All feedback is very much appreciated. So I'll leave it in the description. Check it out. And we'll see you next week for another random review.
Yes.
We do actually need to spin the wheel and find out what we're doing next week.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye.